One of the main things we'll learn is that in a startup, you have to think first about the market, not about building a product. If you don't analyze enough the market, you might end up building a product that not necessarily gonna bring revenue or not necessarily gonna have users that have budget to pay for.
One of the biggest mistakes that the technology guys do is that they're so in love with the technology and they're so in love with what is it that they're making that sometimes they forget that that thing that they're building should be helping someone. And it should be more than just a beautiful technology, more than just a theory. A good leader, a good entrepreneur, I think one of the most important properties and features that they need to have is to listen, know how to listen to the market. And I think that was a really integral part of the UpWest program for us, that understanding that, hey, you should be out there and listen a lot to what the market wants. Those are the things that you should care about, because in the room, you cannot build a company. The company should be built for the customers.
For most founders, the first inclination is to get on their keyboard and start coding. Instead, what we think they should be doing is finding the first few dozens of potential customers, talk to them, and see where the real problem lies. The goal is to find those potential customers that are bleeding from the neck, who have the money and want to pay for your product.
So UpWest has this very strong message for startups of build nothing before you actually talk to people.
So what happens when we invest at such early stage is, for many of the founders, they haven't found the product market fit yet. They haven't really zoned in on who the customer that ultimately will want the product. And what we help them do is really map out the opportunities in the markets. What does it mean? It means that they can test various verticals and understand which vertical really is it that they're going to look into much closer in order to find the customers that will define what the product will look like.
And so when we looked at US as our primary market, that's really where we understood that if you want to work with the customer and learn what their needs are, you first have to go and listen to them. So very early on, we actually flew out there and started listening to them even before we really had a product.
You need to have those early proofs. You need to first define what the problem is that you're solving. For whom are you solving it? How can you show that that person actually cares about that problem? How can you shape that story and bring it to the fundraising stage? And again, that was something that came really in correlation with whatever we have done in UpWest, because that was the idea. The idea was, you know that you have something, stop developing it and just go out there and talk to people and see who you can help with that, and see if someone is actually willing to pay for that technology. And after you have that validation, go back and you will always build a team around it that you can build that. I think it's really important, especially for Israeli entrepreneurs, because they seem to be very technical entrepreneurs, and sometimes they forget the main reason they are building that technology is to help someone solve a problem that they're willing to pay for. So that's like a sentence that is really important for every entrepreneur to actually deeply understand.